Today, I'm going to take you through a follow-along stretch routine suitable for beginners or anyone looking to improve their flexibility. This is a compilation of the best stretches to get you flexible with the biggest bang for your buck. All you need for this routine is an exercise mat. I'm going to be using a resistance band, but you could substitute that for a towel. And I'm going to be using a small cushion, but that's not necessary. That's just for comfort for me. So let's kick things off with a sofa stretch. So this is a hip flexor and quad stretch. So if you've got a box, a bench, a sofa, you're going to put your back foot onto that, drop the knee down onto a cushion or onto your mat. And what we're looking to do is to activate a pelvic tilt. So squeeze the glute, tuck the ribs in, almost like you're glute bridging forwards. We're just going to relax into this stretch, taking our time with it. If you've got a wall, you could even put your knee right into the corner of the wall with your shin parallel flush up to the wall, and you'll feel a bigger stretch that way. So rather than trying to lean forwards like this, we want you to activate the glute, pelvic tilt, and then once you've activated that, you could gently push that hip forward, feeling the stretch up the quad, up the hip flexor. Let's just slow your breathing down. So you're going to breathe in and slowly breathe out. We're going to be holding each stretch for around 60 to 90 seconds. But don't worry about that. I'll let you know when to change. Let's do one more breath. Right, so we're going to switch sides. So I'm going to just drop onto both knees. I'm going to switch around. Now you might find it that down here is enough, but if you're feeling comfortable, you can come up into this half kneeling position. Let's activate that pelvic tilt. So I'm engaging the glute on my back leg, feeling the stretch up the quads and on the hip flexors. We don't want to arch the lower back because that's just going to take the stretch out the hip flexor. So tuck your glutes away, taking any excessive arch out of that lower back. Draw the belly button in. And then once you've done that, you could slightly lean those hips forward to feel the stretch. But if you're already feeling it, we don't need to do that. Just start slowing your breathing down, breathing in through your nose. Slowly out through the mouth. Keep re-engaging that pelvic tilt, squeezing the glute. It's easy to get lazy with this stretch, slipping into that arch position, but we're going to try and keep the stretch in the right area. Let's do one more breath. Okay, this is one of my favorites. Now we're going to do a modified pigeon. It's going to stretch the piriformis and the glute. I'm just going to wheel the bench around to make it a little bit easier for you to see. What we're going to do, we're going to lay the shin horizontally across your bench, your sofa, your box. And then I'm going to sink this hip down, but I'm going to square the hips to the front first. We're going to sink down. If you're really struggling with this and you've got an adjustable bench, I recommend putting it one notch up and it will make it a lot easier, especially on that knee. Obviously, the more flexible you are, you could sink lower into the stretch. Keep some length to your spine. Another modification to make it more challenging would be to lean forwards over the front leg. But even when you're leaning forwards, let's not collapse around like this. Let's lean forward from the hips, hinging at the hip. We're just going to hold this. So we're hopefully feeling it in this piriformis glute area. I'm trying to keep the shin horizontal. We're doing a modified pigeon because most people don't have the mobility to actually keep their shin parallel across the front. They'll tend to tuck the heel in and kick the knee out. So I find this is a great variation that works for everyone, especially if you've got an adjustable bench that you can put up one notch. Okay, let's take it to the other side. Shake it out for a second. So we're gonna lay that across the front, or definitely tighter on this side. So I'm gonna try and square my hips towards the front. I'm gonna support myself either on my foot and my knee, or maybe even on the bench, although that will take you a little lower. The back knee is kind of hovering off the floor. If you want, you could prop it up and put a cushion underneath it. The bench is a bit high for that, but I can feel the stretch here, so that'll do for me. Let's try and sink a little bit lower, so let's breathe in. Relaxing out. This piriformis is a muscle that attaches into this long bone here called your femur. It crosses up through the hip and joins into your lower back. So if that's tight, you imagine you've got a small band pulling from the top of your leg into your lower back. That's definitely going to cause some back issues. All right, let's come out of that stretch. We can wheel the bench out the way for now. Okay, let's get the calves working. So come onto your mat. We're gonna do a downward dog stretch, but we're gonna start. Let's hook your right foot over your left heel. Let's drop the left heel down first, and then let's rise the hips up. And let's lean into that stretch. So you're dropping the heel down, feeling a stretch on the calf. I actually like to just slightly unlock my knee, so I get a little bit of the soleus stretching as well, which is a muscle lower down, nearer to your heel. So pushing through the hands, lifting the tailbone high. You get a little bit of hamstring in here as well. But we're trying to stretch the calf, so let the heel drop nice and low. Hold in for about a minute. So we've got just over 10 seconds left. All right, let's relax out of it. Just shake your hands off to ease your wrists. I'm gonna go back to the other side. So I'm gonna this time hook the left foot over the right heel. I'm gonna drop that right heel down. I can already feel the calf stretching. I'm just gonna reach my hips high. It doesn't matter how high you go. It's all about feeling the stretch. So if you can feel the stretch in the calf, fantastic. If you're really struggling with your wrists, you can do the same stretch leaning against a wall. So you're creating the angle with your hands on the wall and still hooking one foot over. Got about 10 seconds left. Great job. Okay, we're going to work on the hips now. So we're going to come into what we call a 90-90 position. So if you face me, put your heels out nice and wide, create 90-degree angles at your knees. You're going to drop them to one side. So we've got 90 degrees here, 90 degrees out front. I'm propping myself up with this back hand here, and then you're going to lean your chest forwards. If you're more flexible, you'll lean your chest forward over your foot. If you're moderately flexible, you might want to lean your chest over the calf. And if you're a lot less flexible, just lean your chest forward over the knee. Let's try and keep this knee down, so you might even want to pin it down. I'm going to prop myself up with this back hand to keep nice spine posture, and then I'm going to lean across. To make this easier, if you've got a cushion, you could sit on the cushion. It just modifies the stretch to make it a little bit more comfortable on the lower back. It's about 10 more seconds. Even put some gentle circles, like you're stirring a pot with your chest. Okay, let's take it to the other side. So we're just going to flip over. I'm going to create those 90-90 angles. I'm going to prop myself up with the back hand. Make sure that knee stays down. I'm going to lean forwards. This is probably one of my worst stretches, so I'm going to stay over the calf. I'm sure many of you will be able to lean over the ankle. Let's try and do it with an elongated spine, so rather than collapsing forwards like this, let's try and keep some length and lean from the hips. One more breath. All right, let's work into some of the upper body. You're going to use your bench, box or sofa. Just going to do a kneeling lat stretch. So you're going to put your hands on your bench. I'm going to put my knees as wide as they go on the mat. I'm going to sink my chest down, letting the lats and chest open up. You can tuck your toes if you like. You can flatten them out wherever feels comfortable. We're just letting the weight of our body do all the work. You don't need to push down hard. Just sink into it. Try and start slowing your breathing down. Should be reaching out. It's like you're trying to straighten your arms, lengthen them out. The more you reach, you might start to feel your lats stretching out. One more breath. Okay, we're going to do a similar stretch. This time, if you can, you're going to fit the points of your elbows on the edge of your bench. You're going to cross your hands over, pointing down your back like this. And you're going to drop your head down. If you're struggling with that, you haven't got room on your bench to do it, you can just do a modified prayer stretch on the floor like this. But I do recommend, if you're on a bench, it does work really well. You just want the tips of your elbows on the edge of your sofa, bench or box, and if you can squeeze your head down in between your arms, always reaching your hands back, touching your upper back. This is a great tricep stretch, hitting that long head of the tricep. It's a good upper back opener, hitting the T-spine, the thoracic spine, whilst the lats are still in an open position. Great job. Next up, we're going to hit the fronts of the shoulders, so almost the opposite. You're going to put your hands back behind you. The closer they are, the harder it's going to be. And then we're just going to shuffle forwards until you feel a stretch in the bicep, the forearm, the front of the shoulder. So I don't need to go too far. And then I'm going to make my chest nice and proud, extending up towards the ceiling. So I'm pinning my shoulder blades back, elevating the chest as much as possible. Feeling it down the biceps, I can feel it in the shoulders. This is a great one if you do a little bit of calisthenics and you're looking to work on the rings. It's an important position to be able to get into if you want to be able to do ring tricep dips or ring muscle ups, to have a comfortable deep position when you're in the base of a ring dip. Let's just lift that chest up high, one more breath. Releasing the arms. Okay, we're going to take that band, if you've got one, or towel. Now you might just be able to link your hands. I definitely can't do that. And if you can't, the band or towel's a nice little modification. So you're going to just grab one over, one under behind your back. And you're just going to crawl that closer and closer. Getting as far down, just keep creeping your hands closer together. Again, not my most flexible area, but that's definitely not a reason to avoid it. Even more reason to add it into the routine. So we've got a stretch on the front of that shoulder, on the bottom arm, got the lat and tricep stretching out on the top. Just keep crawling those fingertips closer and closer together. Works great with a band, but like I said, you can do it with a towel. Let's slow the breathing down, in through the nose, out through the mouth. You don't have to kneel down if this isn't comfortable. You could do this standing up, you could do this sitting on your box or bench. But it's a good shin stretch if you are. Let's release, shake the arms off. I'm going to take it on the other side now. So going one over, one under, just creeping the hands down the band. Just got one more stretch after this, doing the hamstring and adductors on each side. So let's release that band. We'll come into that final stretch. So you're going to lie on your back. Let's take the band on the ends like that. You're going to wrap it around your mid-foot, maybe slightly higher up towards the ball of your foot. And you've got two options. You can either put your knee bent like that, or if you can, we're going to flatten it out. I actually like to keep a slight unlock of the knee, and then I feel it better in the hamstrings higher up here, rather than just feeling that sciatic nerve burn on the back of the knee. So we're just going to hold this hamstring stretch. Good technique tip. is not to turn that bottom leg out like this. Let's keep that bottom leg straight and pointing up towards the ceiling. We don't want to turn our hamstring stretch into an adductor stretch because we're about to do that anyway. You could even actively help out the stretch by engaging this hip flexor. The stronger your hip flexors get, the more flexible your hamstrings are going to look like they are, or the better mobility in your hamstrings will actually be. So try pulling your leg, as in using your hip flexors to actively pull your leg towards yourself. And you'll find that one, that'll switch off your hamstring in a positive way, allowing you to go further. And two, you'll get a little bit more range. Okay, let's take that band in the outside hand. You're going to drop out to the side for this adductor stretch. You can drop the elbow to the floor. Try not to let the opposite shoulder roll off. Okay, let's take it to the other side. So we're gonna drop that leg straight, drawing it up. Slowing your breathing down. Let's drop it out to the side. And this is the final stretch of the workout. So I'm gonna put the opposite arm out, try and keep that left shoulder down. Feeling the stretch down the inside slightly. And that's it, that's the routine complete. Thanks so much for joining me. Let me know in the comments below, how did you find that workout and where in the world are you following along from? I really do like to hear that. If you're following my 6-week 30 workout lift series, then the next day I'll link here. If you want to do more mobility workouts with me, I'll link a playlist here. Hit the thumbs up button, make sure you subscribe to support the channel, and I'll see you again soon for another video.